The Prinx Tires USL Cup group stage winds to a close in Northeast Indiana. Detroit City have the slimmest of chances of advancing. Meanwhile, Fort Wayne FC have the opportunity to get their first win against a championship side. Welcome one and all to the broadcast here on ESPN+. My name is Mark Schoenster, and to my right is Antonio Aquilino. I can't wait to get this one started for you here. This is the fourth game for both these teams in the group stages. It's been a tough going for Fort Wayne, but partially you can't blame them because you've had two USL Championship teams up to this point, and then on the road against maybe the best team in USL League One, Union Omaha.
And before we can talk about what's about to happen, we have to look at how these teams got here. And as you said, for Fort Wayne, a very difficult road in this game against Union Omaha, fighting back from a 2-goal deficit with Oyetunde and Beecher getting the equalizer before the halftime break, but then in the second half, the wheels would fall off.
Union Omaha demonstrating their quality as they do. These matches have proved as lessons for Mike Avery's side against veteran sides, experienced sides, and of course, sides that are in a league above them. Meanwhile, for Detroit City, in their last 2 cup matches, you get draws, but you don't win the penalty shootout in either occasion, which has put them in this really tight position now.
A completely different scenario when it comes to Detroit City FC. Just that lack of goals haunting this side. And in this matchup against Louisville City, a quality side, the penalty shootout ultimately going to Blue City.
That has kept them from being able to win the group, which means now they have to fish for that one wild card spot. Tonight's player to watch are presented by High2 Soccer Training, helping athletes reach their full potential through elite soccer training. Learn more at high2sports.com.
Tank Healy, goal in back-to-back games for Fort Wayne. He plays in that number 10 role just behind the strikers. Look for him to create most of the danger opportunities here today for the hosts.
Tank Healy in second place right now, tied in the Golden Boot race in USL League One. But on the other side, the leader in the Golden Boot race in USL Championship.
Darren Smith, anything that Detroit want to do offensively focuses on him. If he is in goal-scoring form, look out. This is a formidable side.
And they're going to be looking for goals today. And obviously, he's the guy that can provide them, especially in bunches, as he proved recently. Well, the margin, the window is really small for Detroit City, but don't tell them that. They're going to try and test their luck here this evening. Meanwhile, Fort Wayne looking to make some history tonight. Let's find out what occurs coming up next on ESPN+.
When injury happens, it can be devastating, not just for the athlete, but their entire family. This is where Parkview Sports Medicine comes in. We come alongside the athlete and the family and bring them back to where they once were.
There are stories like this in every community, in every single one of our high schools, in every single one of our universities.
It's the relationships that we build. We're building ambassadors for Parkview for generations to come.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
This isn't the best seat in the house. This is. Because sometimes the best seat isn't even a seat at all. It can be anywhere, at any time, but not with just anyone. It's the only seat where you can watch your neighbor Manuel cry for the very first time. And where your passion is amplified by the sound of your people. It's a seat that any beer would love to have, but only the cerveza for football can. Modelo, the cerveza for football.
What does success look like to you? At Purdue University Fort Wayne, you have what it takes. In the herd, your voice will be heard, and you'll be able to lead, inspire, create, and succeed. When you earn your Purdue degree in our thriving city, you can have an impact, and that impact can change the world.
We welcome you back here to Ruoff Mortgage Stadium for this matchup between Fort Wayne FC and Detroit City FC. Mark Schoenster, Antonio Aquilino with you here on the broadcast. Let's take a look at the starting lineups presented by Modelo. Brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Whether you're celebrating the beautiful game or gathering with friends, Modelo is proud to support Fort Wayne FC soccer. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Please enjoy responsibly.
And we're really looking at the position of Healy in midfield. He was our player to watch for Fort Wayne. How is he going to find Oyetunde and Gafar up front? And Beecher's position also something to keep a close eye on. Is he going to veer more on the right, or will he back up and allow Healy to advance his position of back four in front of Echeverriengo?
Got a couple of bits of rotation for this Fort Wayne side that we'll touch base on later. Here's what Detroit City is rocking.
Everything rotates around Smith. Here we see him behind Morris and Diouf. Dalu, Rodriguez, and Williams in midfield to keep the balance behind them. A back four with Soldana in goal.
Bit of rotation for both of these sides, but also still some star players out there for both of these teams. I mean, Tate Healy, Darren Smith, two leading goal scorers for these sides. Certainly being trotted out for the starting 11, so certainly not a case where Fort Wayne is trotting out a weak unit, even if some players are getting some rest, likes of Javier Armas, Michael Rempel, not available today even from a bench spot. So maybe it's a chance for some of these other players to step up, especially against the USL Championship side. And then for Detroit City, you can claim the same story with guys like Saldana getting in there, chance to get some minutes and prove themselves. The sitch is this: Detroit City FC need a lot of things to go their way in other matches, but the one thing they can't control and they also need is they need a ton of goals, because they've only scored 2 so far in this competition, and that is the second tiebreaker, or that is the first tiebreaker when it comes to vying for that one wild card spot for a second place team. If you're tied on points with one of those other sides, it's just about how many goals have you bagged. Goal differential doesn't matter. So, I mean, this game could go 10-9, and that would be beneficial for Detroit City. They will be in the road kits. Meanwhile, it's the black kits for the home side, Fort Wayne. Our head official for this match is Carlos Rodriguez. For every box to be checked and for all matters of the affair to be in order. That'll be Fort Wayne going left to right, right to left for Detroit City. And we are off and running here from Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. It is the fourth and final match of the group stage for these two sides. Fort Wayne already eliminated, but a chance to make some history today. Meanwhile, Detroit City trying to see if they can really beat the odds and make their way through to the knockouts. It's going to take a lot of goals and a lot of bit of luck in group stage matches happening elsewhere. Either way, two teams that will be going into this game looking to prove themselves. And a first ever meeting between the two sides, as you would imagine. Fort Wayne in their first year as a professional club, getting another crack at playing against the USL Championship side, trying to get their first win. Let's get ready for kickoff with the Toyota Keys of the Match, presented by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places, as Fort Wayne's trying to go places and nearly open the scoring just a minute in.
A beautiful move right down the middle. Beecher holding his run, staying on side. Excellent from him. And then that is an impressive kick save from Saldana. Quick to get low. And that's what you want to do as a goalkeeper. Make yourself as wide as possible and use every single limb that you have to keep that ball out. Excellent goalkeeping.
Tonight's corner kicks are presented by More Wealth Management, as this one's lofted in. Nodded away, chest to the top for Carre. Takes a ricochet and will bounce out harmlessly. So we were a bit interrupted by this opportunity. Let's take a look at those keys to the game again, once again. Toyota, let's go places. What have we got here?
Yeah, for Fort Wayne, just get off the mark at home, getting a victory would be massive for them. Meanwhile, for Detroit, Feed Smith up top. This is a team that has struggled getting goals as of late. Number 7, that's the player you want to get involved as much as possible. The more opportunities he has, the better this team performs. Those are the keys for today's game.
Currently has 11 goals in USL Championship play, which is the most of any player in the competition so far this season. We're still in that sort of around the halfway point of the season, maybe a little bit before, depending on crunching the numbers, schedules, whatnot. But you're in the middle zone right now. As that one's parried back. You can now start looking at those numbers and those leaderboards and really genuinely assessing who might be the guy who claims those awards at the end of the year. And Take Healy's also another guy in that conversation in USL League One, but it's got to acknowledge Darren Smith. You're looking for goals in this game. He is not afraid of being the guy to contribute on all of them. Healy playing that forward for Oyatunde, won't reach him. But Smith scored 5 goals against Sporting Jacks not too long ago. I mean, that is a wild output in a single game. If he could do something around those lines in this game, their odds of advancing would certainly jump up. As they have their first foray here into the attacking third. Aiden Stanley will play it back to Ates Diouf. Wind-up effort, ripped towards goal, and it's claimed by Ari Echevarria. Getting the start here today. Let's take a look at tonight's injury report, presented by PSM ONE, keeping Fort Wayne FC healthy and match-ready all season long. Couple of names for Fort Wayne that are usual starters, and then a handful of names for Detroit City. Michael Bryant still waiting to get back this year. Guy who's been a returning player for this Detroit City team. Always a side that carries some consistency year after year, Detroit City. Even though they're a first-year side, Fort Wayne even have a little bit of that themselves, with many of the guys from the USL 2 days carrying over into this first professional year. Now, a lot of them not starting in this match, but Reed Sproat is. He's out there. Anthony Hernandez as well. As this one sent forward. Alex DeLu was making the run.
Good movement off the ball from DeLu, trying to find that pocket of space. Defense quickly closing down. Looked like a good opportunity for Detroit City, as slowly but surely got themselves in this game after giving up that chance early on, which forced Saldaña into making a world-class save.
Ball's lofted into play. There for it. It's Jaden Smith starting at left back once again. Michael Rempel, who has been the guy they've looked to at that spot all season. Still recovering, but near the end of that recovery journey. So Jaden Smith has kind of been thrusted in that spot, and well, sometimes you just get asked to swim and you kick away. Ball popped up for just a moment, and that's enough for Fort Wayne to intervene. Sometimes you worry when you go on a break, as Fort Wayne has recently, as the whistle sounds for a foul, you worry about maybe the motion and the momentum you had going into the break will get lost, and then you get a little bit of rust. But they came back guns blazing last weekend, 3-0 against Spokane. It was a well-timed break, according to Mike Avery. Mentioned that for a lot of these guys as first-year pros, this is the longest season they've already played in, and we still have several more months to go. So they're able to recover. Some went home, some vacation, some stayed in town and just relaxed. Then you come back and you're sharp as a knife to start play once again. You love to see that, especially from a bunch of first-year pros who are handling a break like that for the first time. Now get a set piece for Detroit. Williams and Stanley behind the ball. Stanley provides the service. Punched away by Echevarria. Biru Ghaffar, tight place, is able to win the throw-in. Work from the first-year pro. Been a hot minute since Detroit has played, been over a week. They played not this past Thursday, but the Thursday prior on the road against Birmingham. Sort of bookended that game with goals. A second-minute goal from Rio Hope Gunn off a corner kick, and then they found the game winner in the 92nd minute from Ben Morris. Pretty even game statistically. A lot of chances. As Ates Diouf is set free. Diouf has some pace, and Diouf dings the woodwork. He had Echevarria stumbling, but he couldn't finish the job.
Oh, and this starts with a terrible mistake at the back with Sprout completely misjudging contact off his chest. That opens up the goal scoring opportunity, and Diouf is gonna want this one back. The near post was wide open. He's not able to get the bend he wants on that ball as it slams onto the post and out. Detroit City so close to going in front.
So now both sides have had an early and loud chance, and yet it remains 0-0, which unfortunately for the likes of Detroit City is a story that's a little bit too familiar in this competition. That 0-0 draw against Lou City, and 1-1 draw against Lexington prior to that. If you can just get a penalty shootout win in even one of those two or both of them, then your sway and your ability to advance changes drastically. They push forward once again. Nice step to the side. The shot is taken, and Echevarria knocks it away. It's not cleaned out, and Darren Smith can't put it on frame.
Good bit of goalkeeping that we are seeing from both sides now. The opening 10 minutes, both the shot stoppers busy. Right here, a solid stop by Echevarria, just playing the ball away from goal. You never want to allow a rebound centrally, as that allows an easy tap-in finish. You want to get it to the side, close down the angle for a possible opportunity if an opposing player gets onto the ball. Smith, that is exactly what he did. Just too tight, wasn't able to get his shot on frame.
Some of those World Cup goalkeepers could take some notes. Oyatunde, stuttering forward, lays it off to his left. Smith, making that run. Trying to dance through. This will be carried forward. Straight up into the air by Hernandez. That's going to be a handball on Ates Diouf, or he was offside. One or the other. Either way, it's going to stop that opportunity. Fans turn to CBS on Saturday, July 18th for a USL Championship Eastern Conference showdown. Last season's champion Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC goes head-to-head with the 2025 Players' Shield winner, Louisville City FC, in a must-watch match of the summer. Two elite clubs, one massive stage. Don't miss a minute of the action on CBS at noon Eastern on July 18th. Love when the USL gets on the big stage. That's right, CBS proper. I'm sure a lot of people are having that soccer fever right now with the World Cup in country. And I don't know, on, what was it, Tuesday that we had our first break from the World Cup since it started, and I was sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I'm sure other people were doing the same thing. The USL is going to keep kicking. Diouf playing it in centrally. It deflects out. That'll be a corner kick.
Work defending here. Fort Wayne getting numbers back. And Detroit trying to spread the ball wide, going horizontally with those diagonal passes to try and open up the space. As Williams, supplying playmaker for this side, is over to take his corner kick. Look to him to get things started out of the back every single time. Visitors have the ball here this evening. Quality player with a lot of experience at 35 years of age.
Service played in by Williams. Nodded away by Gaffar. Got another chance to whip it into the box, and he'll do just that. And it's the similar result. Gaffar will settle. And the ref's going to call some contact. It's a foul. Free kick for Fort Wayne near midfield. First year as a professional side. A lot of players in their first year as pros for Fort Wayne. And Mike Avery and I think the rest of the USL world has noticed the amount of growth that this team has demonstrated, the maturity that has developed on this side. And Coach Avery mentioned that they're not as up and down in training day by day. They're raising the floor as the season goes along. Well, it's going to help, especially you'll get the proof in the pudding with an unbeaten streak, which is what they're currently on in league play. Well, even before the whistle sound, it seemed like players were aware that the foul was going to be awarded.
It's a franchise that has the right people in the right places to grow. It's always going to be difficult your first year in, especially if you are a first-year pro. Training every day, watching what you eat, traveling constantly. Those are big responsibilities that you have now. Looking at the board for this side, co-owner and the sporting director of football operations, Chris Beasley. Right there, I want to say legend of the game. This side is in good hands.
Detroit City on the other side on the prowl. It's a stabbing clearance. That one by Reed Sproat. They're getting to that point in the year now too, especially with a lot of these first-year pros, that you start to ask and see if they're holding up, because they've never played a season this long before. And yeah, anybody can manage their diets and really train hard in the opening stretches of the season when everyone's fresh and enthused, but it's about the maintaining of that as the year goes along, where you really separate the proper pros from those who don't quite have the same level of discipline. Mensigan plays it short. This is well designed. Smith skies it over top. Well, that's kind of what you're looking for. Darren Smith, unmarked inside the penalty box.
30-year-old is going to want to have this one back. Player of his quality has to keep that shot low and on frame. It was wide open, a lot of room in front of him, and if that was on target, it's going to spell real troubles for Echeverria.
Gaffar feeling some pressure. Was not in the most comfortable position, but he manages well. Solis. A lot of numbers committed forward, and it nearly bears some fruit here for Detroit. Not going to make things easy for Fort Wayne as they build out from the back.
It's not going to be the same thing for the visiting side here when it comes to the high press. They're going to give Fort Wayne different looks. Keep them on their toes, off balance. Have to be able to read when the right moment is to try and build out of the back, and when just simply have to get the ball forward and go over the midfield line. And you just can't play through it. That time, very nearly turning the ball over in a costly position. Fort Wayne getting away with it.
Jeremy Garay being pretty influential here with helping possession be maintained by the home side. He's on the ball again before he chops it over to Reed Sproat. Detroit City FC currently sitting on 5 points coming into this match, so technically they're on a pending 6 points. Due to the fact that Lexington and Lou City are playing each other today, they are mathematically eliminated from winning the group, but now you have the chance to still make it through as the best second-place team across the entire competition, which is a pretty high bar that you're going to have to clear. There are a lot of games today where sides can either surpass the 8 points that are the max capable for Detroit City, or they can match at 8 points with Detroit City and they have a head start in the goals scored category. There's no way to guarantee after this game that we'll know that Detroit is through, but there are some scenarios where we could guarantee that they're not making it through depending on how this game goes, even if they win outright in regulation.
These mid-season competitions give a completely different look for these players. Regular season is more of a marathon. This is an all-outright sprint. If you show up to a couple of games out of focus and your concentration dips for 90 minutes, you can find yourself on the way out. And when you realize you have to step your game up, it might be already too late. Bounce here, goal given up cheaply there. That could spell the end of your time in this competition, and that is what Detroit are staring at the moment. They need goals, they need to get chances flowing, and they need to do it quickly.
Funny, because if you look at these results for Detroit, if they were from the regular season perspective, and you'd feel pretty good about them, you get a draw against Lou City, a draw against Lexington, a win in your first match against Madison. You're thinking, hey, undefeated. We get another more wealth management corner kick. And I mean, you look at where they're at in the table in the USL Championship, they feel pretty good about how things are going. But the context change with tournament ball, and that margin for error is slimmer with much fewer games to base off of. Whoops. Worth mentioning these more wealth management corner kicks, helping individuals and families in Fort Wayne plan for a stronger financial future, as Aiden Stanley will drive this one in from the left corner flag. Going for the cheeky deflection there, Darren Smith. Won't come to anything. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and USL League One. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Here's Aiden Stanley on the ball once again. Williams will roll it back to his back line. This is a Detroit City FC team that Mike Avery's quite the fan of. From the tape he's watched, he's enjoyed watching them play, and he said that they've got some exciting attackers in both the middle and out wide. And from everything he's seen, their identity is very clear. They know what they want to do. I think he's particularly excited about the guy who was just on the ball, Rafa Menzingen, a player that Mike Avery coached in college. This one's laid back, shot deflected, and it'll go off target. You feel like that one had eyes for goal before the defender intervened. Maxi Rodriguez trying to open the scoring.
That was an important block from Ray Sproat, reading the situation, getting his body in the shooting lane. Shot on the near post, opening up beautifully, and it was taken first time with confidence. That's what you want from your center backs. No fear, willing to put their body on the line, even if you have to take a shot.
That one takes some skips. That effort hits the head official, Carlos Rodriguez. Going to be an interesting decision here about how he wants to manage this.
Should be a drop ball in favor of Detroit here, as they were the last team that struck it before the referee made contact. Fort Wayne claiming that the ball was going their way and they were going to get possession, but that's not what the rule states.
Yeah, it's certainly one of those weird situations when it comes to the ref getting in the way, because usually it's a pretty obvious situation that's, oh, it's going to stay with this team, but Stanley curls it in, nodded towards goal, and it sails over top. Couldn't quite bring that one down. Darren Smith still fishing for that goal. He built up to this game. He was interviewed and he said whenever you're facing a team that's in a division lower than you, they always feel like they got a point to prove, that they could beat a team on a higher level. So you got to expect that intensity when you have to play a USL League One side as a USL Championship team, because even though in the lens of the competition, Fort Wayne have nothing to play for, that certainly would be a gross misunderstanding of the situation if you came into this match thinking that that was the level of intensity they would be playing with. That of a quote-unquote meaningless game. Because you know they're going to come in and they're hoping to prove themselves.
That's the right mindset you want from your front man. As a manager, can't always be the one motivating your side ahead of big games. That's the easy part. It's against the teams that you're supposed to beat, where preparation and concentration make the difference.
And they're running forward here. Smith trying to get on the end of that pass. He was lurking between the two center backs, trying to time his run, stay on side as Healy gets his foot on the ball. Hasn't had too much to say in this game so far, Tage Healy. He's the kind of player that just takes that one individual moment. Once again, Detroit winning the ball back. Could they be onto something here? Solis stepping in, the big center back, and he's still pushing for it. And he draws the foul. Well done from the tall center back. It was him against Alex DeLu. Go ahead.
It was poor that time from DeLu. He had room to run. He had options on both sides. As Smith was making the run, DeLu just holding on to the ball too long, and Smith ending up in an offside position, and that closed the options available to the winger. Ultimately got dispossessed because he was not able to get the ball away from his feet in time.
The ball now is Jaden Smith. Trying to enjoy some possession in the attacking half. They've had some of the ball, but really haven't had the opportunity to do anything dangerous with it up until here. Oyatunde was fishing for it, had himself turned around. Garay, chop it back. And if nothing else, they're able to at least get Detroit City sitting in their own half for a little bit. Couple of turnovers before they could cross that midfield line, resulting in the visitors going on the hunt once again. That one makes its way all the way over to the left-hand side. And Smith will go forward. This has been a really tough batch of matches for Fort Wayne in this competition. You're in a large group, by the way, too, where there's several other League One sides in Union Omaha and Ford Madison. And you get on the road at Lou City. You get a home game against Indy 11, who have been faring pretty well in the USL Championship. Then you go on the road for your one League One matchup in this competition at Union Omaha. And then you get another USL Championship team here. It's a pretty tough shake, but Mike Avery has really appreciated the growth that has come from those games. He's felt the side has really learned something from each of those cup endeavors. And they're hoping to Experience more of that growth here in this match today.
As a first-year team, it's always going to be difficult to leave your mark in these competitions. Still finding your feet.
Lofted ball chested down, not fully dealt with. Betcher, his header goes wide.
Oh, what an opportunity that was. Detroit allowing the ball to bounce in their own box, failing to clear it, and Betcher finding himself one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He just is unable to find the frame of goal. Saldanha, he was at the mercy of the Fort Wayne frontman that time.
Really the first opportunity in a good 20-plus minutes for Fort Wayne. And now Detroit City trying to make that a distant memory. Diouf cutting it across. Sproat walls it off from reaching the intended target. It's a busy day for Le Rouge and their organization. Not only are they playing in a tournament game right now, but their second team also playing in the round of 16 right now in the UPSL. Able to get a historic win in the round of 32 to make it their deepest postseason run. It's always a good marker of progress as an organization when your second team is also doing well in competitions. As we take a look at this replay again, as he mentioned, tapped right in front of goal. Nearly a disaster for Detroit City.
That's something that cannot happen in your own area. If you're going to get a touch, you need to clear the ball away. There's not the time necessary to control and clear with players draped all over you. Never do that or allow the ball to bounce in your own box. So we saw that with the United States in their game against Belgium, a chance which led to the game's opening goal, scored by Charles Secatarar. You cannot assume that your teammate is going to head the danger away or clear. You have to take on the responsibility yourself and never take that chance.
Fort Wayne looking to conjure something here. This is promising. Cut back in for Healy. He's knocked over. The ref says it's fair play. Take Healy goes to ground. Not the largest of attacking prospects. And now Diouf with some pace going the other way. Ates Diouf. Oh, he lost his balance. Lots of running. Couldn't make something of it once he got to the top of the 18. And the whistles will sound because Diouf is still on the ground. Let's take a look at the contact on both ends of the pitch on these replays presented by Bowen Health, caring for the mental wellness of our community every day.
And Gafar cutting back onto his right to get the cross in and went in no part of it with the left. Contact on Healy, not enough to warrant a penalty in here. Diouf goes down, he looks back at the turf. It's always what you're going to blame when you make the wrong decision and lose your footing. As Smith made the perfect diagonal run, begging for the ball to be fed his way. Diouf wanted to go for glory himself on his preferred right boot. Pitch just letting him down that time. End-to-end action, very entertaining opening half. All that's been missing is that opening goal.
It's certainly a scenario that Fort Wayne will be more comfortable with situationally. Detroit needs to be bagging them if they're going to give themselves a chance. As this drop ball helps this play resume, enter the Prinx Tires USL Cup Game Day Kit Sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack worth up to $2,000. Scan the QR code on screen and enter today. Last game in the Prinx Tires USL Cup for Fort Wayne, at least until next year. And then odds are this is the last cup match as well for Detroit City, but it's not all said and done. Once you start having to crunch out the math and this team needs to do this by this many goals and this team needs to do this, then you're not liking your chances.
As a footballer, take the field to win every single time, and if you get those instructions with an additional, make sure you score a lot of goals, so that's never a bad thing. Detroit, all they can control now is what happens in these remaining 60 minutes or so. Everything else is going to play out the way that it will. And then you take a look at the standings when it's all said and done. All starts with that opening goal, which is far away.
Oyatunde into the box he goes, tries to lift it up, and it takes a glance for a corner kick. So it's time to bring up the big boys, see if they can make something happen from the left corner flag. Now the eyes for this Detroit City team are going to immediately turn and look at the 6'8" Juan Solis, who will be trotting his way up there. Hasn't been able to find a goal from one of these corner kicks yet, but I mean, sometimes stature just is going to attract your attention regardless. Emerson Nieto, midfielder, will provide a cross here. Another more wealth management corner kick is they'll send this one inside. Punched away by Saldana. Healy plays it back in the middle. Nieto will let it roll out for a throw.
And on these set piece opportunities, we want a tower like Solis to get on the ball first. Not just wait for it in the heart of the box. That first header can open up so many other opportunities for players behind him. Not him running towards the ball or near that first post. Try and create some opportunities for his teammates.
Jaden Smith will throw it in. Playing at left back today. Smith hits the delivery. Not a bad looking service. Sproat will tap it back. Nieto. Healy lifts it over to Sproat. He has some room to work with. Center back to Nieto. It's well possession here for Fort Wayne. Trying to find that avenue to break through. Give this game its opening goal. Both sides have had some moments where they came close. Solis up ahead to Healy. He has Smith running. Jaden Smith looking to make something happen. As the ball knocked away, it'll be a goal kick. Smith again, as I mentioned earlier, playing at left back in this game. If you asked him coming into the season what his preferred position would be, it would be right back. And for a lot of this season, he's played as more of a right winger in this Fort Wayne team. So this left back situation is certainly something new for him. With Michael Rempel being unavailable, it was a development that happened in a pretty tight window before their last game against Spokane. And they didn't really have time to go and get someone on a temp contract to fill in that spot. So, hey, time to experiment. Let's throw Jayden there and see what he could do. And they liked what they saw, and so they're going to give him another go there. Let Rempel get some more rest. And
if you are head coach Mike Avery, that's exactly the attitude that you want to see from your players, that willingness to occupy any position that is needed. This is a first-year side, so it's going to be a work in progress. And having footballers like Smith that makes everything that much easier for a manager. Versatile, quality player who's willing to do whatever it takes to help the team.
I mean, at the USL League One level, a player being able to play in several different positions is so valuable. It's not like you're on a Manchester City budget where you can have an entirely second valid starting 11 sitting on your bench. Like, you need guys who can plug into different spots when someone is hurt or someone's unavailable, or you have a tight week and you just need to mix and match a little bit and make it work. Gafar rushing forward. He'll turn inside now. Gafar back to Healy. Not fully dealt with. Sputtering about. Ooh. That's a risky bit of leg action there. Hernandez throwing it up in the air. We'll see if that results in our first booking or not. Hernandez starting at right back today. So, I do believe that was the first yellow card of the game issued by Carlos Rodriguez. Anthony Hernandez with his second booking in this competition, talking about the USL Cup. As we look again on this Bowen Health instant replay.
Oh, bouncing, and that is a dangerous challenge. You never want to head into a tackle with your studs that high. It's always going to warrant a call. And that is the correct decision made by the head official, as Carlos Rodriguez wants to take no risks, keep control of this game, which has been hard fought but fair on both sides.
Yellow cards tonight are presented by Arnold Terrell Riddenauer, attorneys at law, protecting your rights on and off the pitch. Hernandez, the first one to go into the books. About 5 more minutes to go here in the first half of action. Nothing to separate these two sides, but there's certainly been chances for one of them too. On the ball now is Callum Montgomery. Usual starter for the team this year at that center back spot. Nieto doing well there. Now he'll bring it forward. Venture playing it back to Hernandez. Montgomery now rolling it to Ates Diouf. Let's see what he can do with it. Diouf plays it into the middle, now rolled over to the right-hand side. The combinations here into a shot that ends up dragging well wide.
Quick turn and shot that time. Tallo knew he didn't have that much time on the ball. Quick turn, looking for that far post. Missing the target, but that is the attitude that you want to see if you are a Detroit fan. The aim, the goals simply haven't been there so far.
Diouf. Roll this one back to Aiden Stanley. Mentioned that this is a Detroit City team that, although are on the knife's edge as far as advancing in this competition, they are unbeaten in this competition so far this year. which has been a positive that Danny Dicchio has taken away from where they're at right now. He mentioned they'd love to advance, and they feel like they've competed pretty well in this tournament so far. This one squared over to DeLu. He'll have a rip. Knocked away by Echevarria. That'll bounce all the way over to the left corner. It will be a deep throw. Let's take it quickly.
Another very good save from Echevarria, diving to his right, parrying that ball to his side.
Morris pulls it back into the center. Could be something developing here. Juan Solis doesn't like that. How wide it goes now. Rodriguez taps it back, and it'll return to center backs here. Montgomery will play it out to his left. Diouf. Rolled over to the right-hand side. DeLu could step into something here. Plays it to his right. Echevarria with his fingertips is able to snatch that one. Nearly out of his reach, but not quite far enough. He's able to claim it.
Very good goalkeeping. Quick out of his 6. Cutting low. Knew there could have been contact. As both players vying for the ball. That's what you want to see from your netminder.
Detroit plotting to be the last side to throw a punch here in the first half, and of course their intention will be to land it, but if nothing else, to feel the positivity going into the halftime break. Jaden Smith, though, with the poke, wins the ball back. Smith, shifty, tried to find Betcher. That'll probably be a foul on Oyatunde with the push on the pack.
Jaden Smith has been so positive on that left flank. His position so high up the pitch, just initiating the press. Winning the ball that time and very nearly finding Beecher. It was an excellent position in the heart of the box.
You see 3 minutes of added time brought on. Fans, when you need more time, call More. Tonight's stoppage time is brought to you by More Wealth Management, helping you plan for the future. Looks like this one will be kept in bounds. Fencing in with the curler. Settled down by Diouf. Lays it to his left for Rodriguez. Maxi Rodriguez into the center. Tap back for Diouf. His shot going off the face of Juan Solis. Healy playing it up ahead. Betcher had his face in the turf.
Betcher was looking for a call, feeling that he was pushed from behind. Referee signaling to play on.
Half move there from Ryan Williams. Jaden Smith once again stepping in and doing some disrupting. Seems to be pretty fluid between him and Oyatunde as far as that left side is concerned, and you'll love to see that. Those are two guys that, both of which you'd love to have the chance to have a crack at it in the attacking third, and well, not have them both alternate give and goes. This one played to the middle. Mensingen! He has that capability to rip it from beyond the 18. And certainly had the pace, just not the accuracy.
And that's been the recipe for Detroit in this opening half, especially in these last 15 minutes. The build-up mostly coming from this left flank with Diouf involved heavily, cutting inside. That time, Mettingen putting himself in a good shooting position, a similar shooting position which we saw Delou in earlier, and Diouf as well. Space centrally being allowed by Fort Wayne, and these Detroit players not shy with letting those shots come in from outside the box, but every single time that's happened, Echeverria has been up to the task.
Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. I don't think there's a bad seat in the house here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. The Roo, what a palace it is. I mean, already it's certainly a beacon in USL League One, and I think it holds up to most of the USL Championship venues as well. I think that's a pretty easy statement to make without much contention. And now it's really in its element. It started out the year once they started playing in it in partial completion, but now you see all the seats in the stands, fans occupying all the different spaces, and a giant screen on the right-hand side from where we're viewing. I mean, talk about just an awesome venue. Had a bit of stoppage there, so we'll see when the ref actually opts to call this one over in the first half. We're already over the 3 allotted minutes that have been added on. Garay has it knocked away from him. That'll be a Detroit throw. Everyone at every given moment will keep turning their head to Carlos Rodriguez to see when he opts to shut up the shot. And there is that halftime whistle. Through 45 plus, it's 0-0, and you would say it's a pretty evenly and fairly fought battle so far between Fort Wayne and Detroit City.
Both sides combining for 4 shots on target. Very good opportunities for both of these teams, but no goals as of yet.
Detroit City will be more pressed to find that here in the second half. Meanwhile, Fort Wayne still with the opportunity to get one and claim their first win against the USL Championship side. Halftime tonight is brought to you by Modelo, a beer brewed with character, tradition, and a fighting spirit. As the teams head to the locker room, take a moment to grab a cold Modelo and get ready for an exciting second half of Fort Wayne FC soccer. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Please enjoy responsibly. 0-0 your scoreline after 45 minutes. We'll see if that changes in the second half. We'll see you then.
Friday. Let's put good times in gear. We've got power tailgates to power game days and a trailer backup guide that's the champ of the ramp. Heck, we might even cancel Monday. Toyota Trucks. The 2026 Toyota Tacoma is a Kelley Blue Book KBB.com Best Buy. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
At Trine University, we are thunderous. But how do we get that way? One rumble at a time. Every challenge faced, every insight earned, every setback surmounted puts you on the path to exceed all expectations, yours included. It's why Trine graduates have an over 99% employment rate and make noise in whatever field we choose. What kind of noise, you ask? Here's a hint. Hear more at trine.edu.
When injury happens, it can be devastating, not just for the athlete, but their entire family. This is where Parkview Sports Medicine comes in. We come alongside the athlete and the family and bring them back to where they once were.
There are stories like this in every community, in every single one of our high schools, in every single one of our universities.
It's the relationships that we build. We're building ambassadors for Parkview for generations to come.
We welcome you back here for halftime presented by Modelo. It's 0-0 between Fort Wayne FC and Detroit City FC after 45-plus minutes. Mark Schoenster, Antonio Aquilino with you here on the broadcast. And this is the final round of group stage games here in the Prinx Tires USL Cup, which means coming this Monday, July 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern, the Prinx Tires USL Cup Knockout Draw quarterfinal show will be taking place. USL's Dan Lucas and broadcast analyst Devin Kerr will select the matchups from the 7 group winners and the wild card Monday at 1 p.m. live on the USL's YouTube channel. And if you're wondering what that might look like or what are some of the rule sets and structures, we have an explainer video here for you now.
Two champions loaded with USL history. Louisville City raised last year's Players' Shield, but the Pittsburgh Riverhounds took home the USL title. Contenders collide. Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Louisville City, Saturday, July 18th at noon Eastern on CBS.
Prinx tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinx tires will be there for the long haul.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This summer, get 1,000 bonus points and a chance to win 250,000 bonus points.
Dear Friday, let's put good times in gear. We've got power tailgates to power game days and a trailer backup guide that's the champ of the ramp. Heck, we might even cancel Monday. Toyota Trucks. Lease a new Tacoma for $309 a month or get 2.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Athletic and Louisville City were tied with 9 points. The first tiebreaker, total goals. Hartford scored 9, Louisville had 8. And that wild card spot launched Hartford's run to the USL Cup title. This year's Cup promises even more drama. 42 clubs in the USL Championship and League One will form 7 groups filled out by region. Each club will play 4 group matches, and when the dust settles, the 7 group winners will advance along with 1 wild card team, not 2 wild cards like last year. The remaining 8 clubs will be drawn into 4 quarterfinal matches with 1 stipulation. The wild card cannot be drawn against its group winner. The 4 quarterfinal winners will then be drawn for the semifinal round, with the 2 finalists drawn to determine the host for the Prinx Tires USL Cup final.
Hey, look, it's Friendly the Gorilla. Enjoying some halftime activities here presented by Modelo. 0-0 your scoreline between Fort Wayne Football Club and Detroit City Football Club. Mark Schoenster, Antonio Aquilino with you here on the broadcast. Let's take a look at what these two teams have coming up ahead. For Fort Wayne, it's like right around the corner. They have a Wednesday game, a midweek game on the road at One Knox. That is going to be quite the matchup, quite the challenge. They're currently on an 11-game unbeaten streak in league play. That could be a game where that gets snapped, or that's a game where you reinforce just how strong you are as a team, and then it just keeps going from there. Saturday next week, Greenville Triumph, and then you go to Spokane after that. So some really tall challenges incoming for Mike Avery's side. Meanwhile, on the other end, for Detroit City, they don't have a midweek game. They will just be looking ahead to their next match, which will be a big one against, I guess you could say, their rivals of Fort Wayne, Indy 11. That game will be next Saturday. They will be having a go, and that'll be a pretty big game as far as the table is concerned. And then you get Las Vegas Lights, and then a road trip to Miami. It's always jam-packed action throughout the USL season, and although we had a little bit of a break, a little more spaced out during the World Cup, it's all systems go after the World Cup, and well, really, even before it's concluded, we're back into gear now, so should be a lot of fun going forward. With that in mind, we're going to step aside and let Dan Lucas give you some other updates that are taking place across the United Soccer League.
It is halftime in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. We hope you're enjoying the match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at some of the headlines. Last week in the championship, New Mexico United extended its league unbeaten streak to 5 matches with a 2-1 victory over Oakland Roots in front of more than 14,800 fans, the 4th largest crowd in franchise history. New Mexico's Christian Nava scored his first goal since the 2022 season, a remarkable comeback for a player that battled through 2 knee injuries over a 2-year period. Tonight, we close out group play in the Prinx Tires USL Cup, and 8 clubs will head to the quarterfinals. You can watch that quarterfinal draw on the USL's YouTube channel on Monday the 13th at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. USL is also gearing up for a national TV audience on Saturday the 18th. The title holders in the championship, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, host last season's Player Shield winners, Louisville City. That's a noon Eastern kickoff on CBS. And 2 more matches on CBS Sports Net. Sporting Jacks and Pittsburgh on the 15th. 2 days later, it's AC Boise and Portland Hearts of Pine. This is the USL Studio Halftime Update. I'm Dan Lucas. Now let's get you back out to your match.
When injury happens, it can be devastating, not just for the athlete, but their entire family. This is where Parkview Sports Medicine comes in. We come alongside the athlete and the family and bring them back to where they once were.
There are stories like this in every community, in every single one of our high schools, in every single one of our universities.
It's the relationships that we build. We're building ambassadors for Parkview for generations to come.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
This isn't the best seat in the house. This is. Because sometimes the best seat isn't even a seat at all. It can be anywhere, at any time, but not with just anyone. It's the only seat where you can watch your neighbor Manuel cry for the very first time. And where your passion is amplified by the sound of your people. It's a seat that any beer would love to have, but only the cerveza for football can. Modelo, the cerveza for football.
When you're looking for your next vehicle, there's a reason so many families choose Kelly Automotive Group. With 9 dealerships, 14 brands, and 3 convenient locations, you'll find an incredible selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Plus, enjoy free car washes for as long as you own your vehicle. Our commitment doesn't end when you drive off the lot. From routine maintenance to collision repair, detailing, and accessories, we're here to serve you long after the sale. Experience transparent pricing, exceptional customer service, and a team that's here to earn your trust every mile of the way. Kelly Automotive Group. Why buy anywhere else?
We welcome you back here to the Roo, where it is 0-0 between Fort Wayne FC and Detroit City FC at halftime. Our closing portions of halftime presented by Modelo. Mark Schoenster, Antonio Aquilino with you here on the broadcast. Play, and of course they're at 0% in this game so far, but they're trying to fix that here in the second half. And as a recap, this is a team that's not mathematically eliminated from the Prinx Tires USL Cup coming into today, but it certainly required a lot of things to go their way. And then in the one element they are in control of, you got to score at least 5 goals in order to give yourself a shot. It's not looking like that's going to be the kind of night we have unless the tenor of this game changes drastically. I mean, you've had the shots. It's just not always been in the most dangerous spots. We saw a lot of those. We were on the top of the 18, each player having their crack at it and not quite doing enough to best Ari Echevarria. Both sides make their way back onto the pitch. There will be 2 changes to the 11 for the home side, Fort Wayne Football Club. You see Clarence Salvador readying to come on. And they're also going to get James Musa, who missed a lot of time this season, the veteran presence, and has gotten back recently, and so they're going to try to get him some minutes here. So, you hear the PA host getting everybody here in Fort Wayne ramped up as the substitutions are officially announced. Baron Salvador on for Tay Keeley, and James Musa will sub on for Jaden Smith. So that would suggest to me that we might be seeing a back 3 here for Fort Wayne here in the second half, unless Musa is gonna just like for like change and play at that left back spot. Since he's returned, he's been the partner to Thiago Dias as that center back duo. Mike Avery and his club. Carlos Rodriguez, our head official. That's his whistle sound. We are back running once again. The Rouge going left to right. The autumn gold and black going right to left. Once again, welcome you on the broadcast. Mark Schoenster, Antonio Aquilino with you here on the show. Smith. It's played back to him. It's a heavy touch. Smith trying to chase it down. He gives some more pressure. Doesn't end up converting for him, but really good opportunity out the gates here for Detroit.
And that's not a goal because Anthony Hernandez makes a defensive diagonal, which is absolutely sensational, coming in from the left to get his body in the way. Great defending that time.
How about that turn from Abudur? Play will go on. Gafar collecting the pieces. Abudur with those fresh legs. Trying to put him to good use there.
Mark, if we can just highlight Healy and his contributions in this game before making way. Body language was simply not there for the attacking midfielder. Seemed disappointed, frustrated with the lack of service. Drop back to get in possession rarely in that opening half, contributing very little defensively as well. So substitution at halftime. Understandable by the head coach.
Nieto will get things going once again here. Side that talked about the maturity and the growth for them here this season, and worth noting over these past few years they've been in USL League Two, which is such an abbreviated season over the summer. Mike Avery managing the team during that stretch of time has a little bit more of, well, that time to develop structure, get that chemistry with the team. And it's not necessarily easier or harder, it's just different. You mentioned you just don't have to rush it as much. You mentioned something he likes to do with the team is put players into the hot seat, where basically on a given day a player gets asked questions, they're trying to get to learn about the guys and each individual player. And in the League Two season, they were doing the hot seat for players a couple times a week, and now they only just have to do a player a week during the long USL League One season. And then on top of that, you just, in general, you've got more time in the week that you're spending with the guys and more weeks to be spending with each other, so that camaraderie is going to build. Well, I hope you like the guys you're working with, because if you find out a month into the season you don't really like the guys you're with, you're in for a long haul. But it does seem like the chemistry with this group is pretty good.
At the professional level, it's very rare that you see patience from the board. That is a word that gets thrown around often when it comes to professional sports, but it very rarely takes place where a board or a general manager has patience with the manager. And time is given to make mistakes, understand who you're coaching, and learn. Right here, this is the perfect scenario for Coach Avery to do a good job and develop these players.
Kabiru Gafar plays it back to Abudur, serving it in. Betcher was lunging for it. He may have taken a glance on the ball, but not enough to redirect it properly. That'll be a foul on Nieto. But a promising moment there for Fort Wayne.
Very good move and builds up on the right. The cross coming in, missing the ball. Betcher, not by much. That could have been an excellent goal scoring opportunity. The front man has to make contact there. You're in good position, getting in front of the defender, establishing yourself, but then you have to get it on target to give yourself a chance to score a goal.
Played over to the right-hand side.
Good challenge.
Garay winning it back for Fort Wayne. Takes the glance there. It'll be Hernandez to toss this one back into play. can harp on the fact that this Detroit City team needs goals, but one thing that you can throw accolades in their direction on the other side, and such a good side defensively. Just 1 goal conceded in now 3.5 matches in this cup competition. Of course, that is not the style of play that this format is recommending and encouraging. But again, you look at how they're doing in the group, or in the standings in league play, and the phrase as it goes, defense wins championships. So when they get to the postseason, come to the end of the year, which is where they are aspiring to be and are currently in position to be, that's going to be such a massive asset. They can be just that stubborn on the defensive side of things. Nieto searching for Tunde over there. Actually, that's Kabir Gafar playing on that right wing side. Ball very well placed. Ball rolling into the middle. It's begging for someone to have a go. Falls again to Delu, dribbling through. And Echevarria takes the sting off the shot and then goes back to reclaim it.
Oh, Alexander Delu, how many more opportunities do you need to get your name on the score sheet? Took 3 bites of the apple on a single sequence that time. Red carpet ball played from the left. He has all the time in the world to square his shoulders, take a shot, then he gets fit again, and he delays the shot. Wanting to bring that ball forward. And then, when he finally does, the big right hand of Echevarria denying him glory. Detroit so close to going in front. And this Fort Wayne wall holding up.
Ari Echevarria once again stepping up and making it happen. They've looked his way several times in cup play. Sort of the second stringer behind Bernd Shipman, who's also done a fantastic job. So 2 great goalkeepers that are in hand for Fort Wayne. Oyatunde having a lot asked of him there in between several Detroit City defenders. Oh, that's a rough challenge. It's going to be a yellow card for Reed Spro, gashing in from behind. Yellow cards tonight are presented by Arnold Terrell Riddenauer, attorneys at law, protecting your rights on and off the pitch, as we take a look at this instant replay presented to you by Bowen Health, caring for the mental wellness of our community every day.
Spro knew exactly what he was doing that time. High up the pitch, he was out of position. If Diouf were to turn or get rid of that ball and continue his run, there's going to be a lot of space at the back for Detroit to capitalize. So want to stop play, get that yellow card out of the way, and put an end to what looked like a promising move on the counter for the visiting side.
Well, someone has to restart this one. Callum Montgomery will be the guy to get that job done. Turn to CBS on Saturday, July 18th for a USL Championship Eastern Conference showdown. Last season's champion Pittsburgh Riverhounds go head-to-head with the 2025 Player Shield winner Louisville City FC in a must-watch match of the summer. 2 elite clubs, 1 massive stage. Don't miss a minute of the action on CBS at noon Eastern on July 18th. Garay looking to inventively get that one over to Gafar.
Difficult pass to play, especially if you're not going to place it out wide. It's a very central ball, which was always going to favor Sardagna.
So 55 minutes into this game, we remain at a deadlock. Fort Wayne, to this point, in games against USL Championship foes. Loss in regulation on the road at Lou City. They draw, and a loss in the penalty kick shootout against Indy 11. Looking to see if they can find another upgrading result in this, their third crack at a USL Championship team. This ball sprayed over to the right-hand side. Rodriguez is blocked away by Hernandez. Aguador jumping up to get a touch on that one. Before it rolls all the way back to Saldana. Still no changes, 56 minutes in for Danny Dicchio and his side, as far as the personnel is concerned at least. Echevarria getting that out of harm's way. Oyatunde showing more hunger for that ball there. And it's tapped out for a throw-in for Fort Wayne.
Detroit simply need to do more on the offensive end. Ben Morris has been a non-factor here this evening, playing alongside Smith. Delu, plenty from him on the right, with Diouf doing the same on the left, with Smith down the middle, but Morris very rarely spoke his name. And Rodriguez in midfield need to support the move going forward against a team that likes to put players behind the ball and defend, with all hands on deck the way that Fort Wayne are here tonight.
Hernandez not going to lose possession too easily. It gets the glance off of Delu. I mean, look at that screen in the background. Man, that's fantastic. Oyatunde is knocked over. And by Rafa Mentingen. Plays for Detroit City, but used to play his college ball with Mike Avery as his manager. Nothing but good things said about Rafa Mentingen and Mike Avery when we had a chance to chat with him earlier this week. Great player, but also was highly complimentary of him as a person. You just love to see that. Many years later, your paths crossing once again. Both careers been pretty good up to this point, I would say. Nieto. Rolls this one in. Knotted down. So Lee scrapping for it. Gaffar tries to have a chop. And that'll be a foul, a push on the back. Emerson Nieto, the aggressor.
Dangerous looking free kick that time. Far post, waiting for it to be squared back in with the header. It's exactly what took place, with the Detroit scrambling, no one able to find the target.
Aguador feeds it into Oyatunde. Oyatunde shifting inside. Play goes on. Tries to play the ball from the ground. It'll be Maxi Rodriguez. Rolled over to Alex Delu. Darren Smith, 11 goals in USL Championship play this season, more than any other player so far. That's going to be a heated race, much like the USL League One Golden Boot race will be. A lot of entries in that competition as well. DeLu rolls it into Mensingen. DeLu in the corner. Oh man, is it physical over there between him and Hernandez, but after a bit of a scrappy interaction, it will be a free kick for Detroit City.
For all the frustration that DeLu has had here tonight, finding the back of the net, he has been a willing runner all evening long, securing a precious free kick as we enter the hour mark.
Ryan Williams. Alongside him, Aiden Stanley. Let's see how they opt to attack this one. Williams curling it inside. It's perfectly sculpted. And Detroit City capture the lead via the set piece.
A well-deserved goal from Detroit City as the pressure was mounting on Fort Wayne in this second half. Echeverria looks on. There's nothing he could have done that time. The delivery from Williams was pinpoint accurate, right on the head of Darren Smith. Look at that leap, right in front of the big man. Juan Solis did not read the movement from Smith. Forward beating him, positioning himself perfectly, and then slamming that ball into the ground, making it impossible for Echeverria. Well-deserved go-ahead goal.
So across competitions, that is Darren Smith's 13th goal this season. Had one in the Open Cup. This is his first in the USL Cup this season. And then, of course, the 11 goals he scored, as we've touched base on a couple times here in this broadcast. But he's onto the score sheet and currently has 3 points on the board for Detroit City. Nieto. Didn't think that he kept that one in play, and that is the opinion of Carlos Rodriguez as well. Coming this Monday, July 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern, the Prinx Tires USL Cup Knockout Draw quarterfinal show. USL's Dan Lucas and broadcast analyst Devin Kerr will select the matchups, the 7 group winners and the wild card, Monday at 1 p.m. live on the USL's YouTube channel. Be sure to check that out to see what those knockout matches in this cup will look like. Detroit City would love to be a part of it, but they're going to need some more goals if they're going to be in that conversation. Smith had to touch it over to the left-hand side for Diouf. He is the goal scorer in this game so far. I mean, worth acknowledging just to talk about as far as scores in other games. Miami FC up 4-0 against Sarasota Paradise, which basically effectively means Detroit City will not be making it through because Tampa Bay have already locked up basically first place in that group, and then Miami would be second at 9 points, which is beyond what Detroit could capture. So, of course, the players don't know that, and they kind of understand the situation coming into the game. So really, it's more about just coming out here and proving yourself in a match. As we see a substitution being made. Oh yeah, Tunde is going to sub off, and Lilian Ricol will sub in. So you imagine Betcher will probably drift out and allow Ricol to play as that spearhead.
Ricol, born number 9. Expect him to lead the line as he comes on. Tunde Disappointing evening for him. Very isolated out wide. Never really had an opportunity to run at this back line or create for his teammates. Much heavier presence up front now with frontman Ricol coming on.
This one rolled through, nearly reaching Darren Smith, but it took just the slightest of a scuff. That was enough to alter its trajectory. Musa on the ball, rolls it forward. Guy who's getting back into health, and boy, is that a presence they love to have out there. Here's a fun little fact for you. In the starting lineup, the average age for Fort Wayne was 23 years old. It's nearly a 6-year gap on average between them and the starting lineup for Detroit City, which was 28.9. So if you think that the harping on the first-year pros, the lack of experience that this Fort Wayne team has, I mean, that's as crazy a number to demonstrate that fact as any. We've got a very veteran side of Detroit, and a side that's really going through all these motions for the first time in Fort Wayne. So it took all the way up to this point for subs to be made for Danny Dicchio, but now they will take place. And some of that age I was just referring to, some of it will be coming off the pitch, at least a little bit. Ryan Williams, one of those experienced players, will come out for Abdoulaye Diop. Meanwhile, Kobe Hernandez Foster will sub into the game for Alex DeLu. And then lastly, Haruki Yamazaki will sub into the match. And out comes Ben Morris.
A solid game for Ryan Williams, pulling the strings in midfield. The 35-year-old with his second assist in the competition. Right free kick, which led the game's opening goal, scored by frontman Darren Smith. But as you said, word of that Miami result is surely going around the bench now. And head coach opting to put in some younger players, as Danny Dicchio understands the situation and wants to look forward to some of the games coming up on his side.
Solis will roll it back to Echevarria. A little over 20 minutes left to go, and well, that was a bit of a mishap. Squared into the middle. Hernandez Foster! Knocked down by Echevarria, keeping this at a 1-goal game. Ball rolled in centrally. Darren Smith couldn't put it on frame. Hunting for a brace. It wasn't to be.
The chances now coming in fast and furious for Detroit City FC. Another incredible one-handed save by Echevarria, denying the substitute from point-blank range. What an evening for the goalkeeper.
Amoudor. Able to keep the ball there. Even went to ground for a moment. Gafar plays it over to the right-hand side. Ricol. Stuttering, lifts it up, and so does the offside flag. Wouldn't have mattered, but play will go on. Mentioning James Musa earlier and his return to the lineup and how impactful that is as a veteran player. Worth noting, they've been happy to get him back into the mix. Mike Avery mentioning he's also been pleased because, you know, you have this game where you don't have anything competitively viable to be playing for. But they're getting Musa in, getting him some minutes, and he said that, you know, it's good that a vet like Musa is asking to be kept playing and to get minutes in this game and not asking to be rested. And such an example that you have to carry, especially on a team so young, about what it means to be a pro and how to hold yourself. And the ability to hold yourself accountable is the first stepping stone for every other player to learn how they need to be doing it.
Absolutely. If you're the leader of a club, you set the example. That's when everyone else follows. That's why it's so important to have leaders who have good work ethics on your squad.
That shot glances off the boot of Solis. They'll stay in the clutches of Detroit. How about that move? Ball lofted in, squared to goal. Rafa Mensingen looking for one, but it goes straight at Echevarria. Mensingen dribbling in, Rafa Mensingen. It's a solo effort, and boy is it dazzling. Rafa Mensingen gliding through defenders and makes it 2-0.
Oh, sensational from Mensingen. Doing his best Dani Alves impersonation, cutting inside onto the left. Saw him in the box just seconds earlier. His header right down the middle, saved. But Echevarria could do nothing here. No one stepping up to make things difficult. And the Brazilian able to find the bottom corner with the daisy cutter. Detroit now with some daylight between themselves and Fort Wayne.
Certainly shaved some of those blades of turf here. Rafa Mensingen had to do something special in front of his old coach. You see JP Jordan out there on the pitch after that goal. The substitution was made. He's in for Jeremy Garay. Jordan, a regular starter at right back, though can plug into the midfield as well. Now a free kick opportunity for Fort Wayne. You can score here, you put this game back into question. We need to have something on the board soon. Iwador all by himself. He'll stutter up and strike. Not bad shape to it, but not quite enough quality to test the goalkeeper. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157 for North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 in the Sirius XM app. Nieto will roll this one up ahead. A speculative crossover to Mensingen, and it does reach the target. He'll play it back, shot playing to goal. A spinning effort knocked away by Echevarria, who's been a busy man in this game.
You said it, Mark. That's save number 7 on the evening for the netminder. That's so difficult. First time hit with bodies in front of you. Hard to see the ball leaving the boots of the opposition, and you have to move quickly. He's been doing that all evening long. It's so difficult to make those one-handed stops, but he's making it look routine.
2 changes incoming here for Dane Dikio's side. Connor Rutt subs on for Maxi Rodriguez, and Tommy Silva will take the place of Ates Diouf. So with 15 more minutes to go, Detroit City make a couple more personnel changes. They look to see this result over the line. Doesn't look like they're going to be afforded the opportunity to play another match in this competition, though. Looking to close it off in high morale. And again, you look at it from the, I guess, the general assessment side of things. You don't lose a match in the Cup, so you feel pretty good about that. You get 2 wins and 2 draws, but the margins are just that darn thin in this competition that you've really got to be on point and find results in order to give yourself a chance to make it through, especially in this group in particular, because you have 7 teams. You're not even going to play a couple of the other opponents in the group, which means that, in theory, you could both win out all of your games and still someone wouldn't be the winner of the group. Here's Yamazaki. Dribbling through. Tried to thread the needle. It pinballs about. Emerson Nieto pleading to the ref. Will be Fort Wayne possession. So for both of these sides, after this, all the attention will now solely be focused on league play. At the beginning of the year, you're juggling a lot of different things. You've got this cup, you've got the start of the year, and then you've also got the US Open Cup that most teams in the USL are managing. Fort Wayne, not in that conversation this year, but you'd expect that'll be the case in years to come. Here's Rico, curling it in, not it towards goal, but Betcher couldn't put it on frame. He's a big target at 6'3". He's had a couple opportunities with his head on the ball, and he hasn't converted.
Perfectly placed ball as Rigo puts it in the only place where Betcher can get it. There's no one along this Detroit back line which can compete with him when it comes to these aerial battles. Once again, Betcher failing to hit the target. The man draped all over him. In those situations, you have to test the goalkeeper. It's the only way you give yourself a chance to score a goal. That simply hasn't been the case all evening long for the 25-year-old.
Well, maybe some technical difficulties. Unable to communicate with each other. So they're gonna tweak that now. Well, I tell you what, Antonio, you never go a game without seeing something new.
Absolutely. 12 minutes left, plus expected stoppage time. Referees feel like this place is that loud that they can't communicate with each other, and they absolutely need to have the headsets working. As we take a look at the second goal mark, that solo run from Metzingen takes a lot of personality to take on the responsibility to cut inside and then test the goalkeeper with some of the options that he had available in front of him. Metzingen, if there's one thing that he does not lack, it is personality, and it showed that time.
He saw the avenue, his eyes grew wide, and he's got to go and take it. Now that the refs have their batteries replaced or whatever the issue may be, get a backup earpiece plugged in, whatever it may be, they're hopefully able to talk to each other now. You wonder just how much more communication they're going to need to make here. I don't know if any more subs are incoming or how much more really needs to be drawn out outside of maybe just stoppage time. But the moment you don't have it is the moment you need it, so.
High press from Detroit, trying to win the ball back as Fort Wayne look to see out these 10 minutes and get a goal to get themselves back in this game. Give these fans a tense finish to this one. It's going to be difficult. Detroit looks sound defensively, especially in this second half.
The chanting and the drumming hasn't stopped over from the Hive. The supporter end of the pitch here on the left-hand side, where the stadium and the seats wrap around the goal, versus the giant screen that's on the right-hand side. Wonderful stadium and soccer specific, which is something that Detroit City is in the process of having themselves, as this one's rolled up ahead. There's a lot of charm to Keyworth. I love the train chugging behind, and I'm certainly not alone in that camp. They do have something in the works in Corktown, a 15,000 capacity stadium, Alumni Fight Field. From what I was able to gather, projected to be in use in the spring of 2028. But boy, you look at those, I guess the projections of what it's supposed to look like, the renderings, and oh, Antonio, it's going to be a spot.
It's wonderful to see how well the sport is developing, not only higher levels of American football, but also with the smaller clubs that take such great care of their fans and players, with the coaching staff and everyone involved, building these high-tech facilities which are so accommodating is so important in the modern game to help develop football at every single level, not just making it a great product for television, but also for the fans in attendance.
Yeah, you're talking about a fan base that deserves to be rewarded with stuff like that. Detroit City has got quite the base following, bringing the energy. You know that it'll just continue to grow, especially with a nice venue as the one that they're in the process of constructing. Growth of the sport, different places all across the USA. Obviously, the World Cup being in town was sort of a hanging point for a lot of these clubs and for the USL in general. You know that the interest is going to ramp up to it as Darren Smith is offside. You let the game at the highest level win over some new interested fans, and then you go, hey, this thing is happening all the time in your backyard, year to year.
And it's so important for the development of the game, as you said. There are places around the world where this is a big struggle. I speak personally in Italy, building stadiums that are advanced, high-tech to accommodate fans, and the TV product has been a big issue in the past 30 years. And that's something that cannot be taken for granted here in the United States. These are key movements and steps to make sure that the game develops the right way and gets as many young footballers involved from an early age as possible. Those are the future talents that will be able to carry your national team forward to new heights.
Speaking of future talents, I don't know if he'll make his way into the game here this evening for Fort Wayne, but it was announced today that Johnny I, a young 16-year-old kid, signed on an academy contract for Fort Wayne. Youngest player in the history of its professional era. Of course, the reason why he's not the youngest to be on the roster in its entirety is because he played a game for them in a friendly last season. He was 15 years old, being the youngest player to ever appear for the club. That was an international friendly against Atlas Football Club U23s. Fort Wayne through and through. And as this infrastructure grows across the USL, just across soccer in general in America, it gives the chance for players to get the chance to make that breakthrough that maybe they wouldn't have had that opportunity to have before.
And also, more importantly, it allows for more and more fans to fall in love with the game, because at the end of the day, that's where it all begins, with the fans, with the kids watching as they grew up and wanting to emulate the careers that their favorite footballers go on to experience. If you have a team in your own backyard, that just gives you a chance to aspire to something, to wear those colors and represent your national team further down the road.
Awudor playing it up ahead for Ricol, and Ricol picks up the pieces and scores! Lilian Ricol wins one back for Fort Wayne. He was just a little hungrier and a little bit more feistiness, and he's rewarded for it.
Lilian Ricol bringing the hunger and the hustle that was missing in this game for Fort Wayne. The 23-year-old pouncing on the mistake at the back, taking full advantage of his opportunity and bringing his side right back in the match. A massive goal for the hosts and giving these home fans something to celebrate.
Fort Wayne FC goals are brought to you by All American Stores, celebrating every score with hometown pride right here in Fort Wayne. It's not an unusual suspect, Lilian Ricol. His second goal in this Prinx Tires USL Cup. He was the one that got the goal scoring started in this competition for this side when they played Loose City back in the opening game in this cup, and boy, was that a start. 5th minute, was able to skip it over the goalkeeper in that one, and so in essence, bookending the Prinx Tires USL Cup with goals here, Lilian Ricol. As you may have seen on the screen, confirmation, another substitution taking place. Reed Sprout is out, Thiago Dias, the usual stalwart starter at center back for Fort Wayne, will sub in. So back to a 1-goal game, which means this one's back up in the air between Fort Wayne and Detroit City. Here's a look at Danny Dicchio. This is a team that doesn't take kindly to conceding goals. Up to this point, had only conceded 1 in this competition. Yamazaki is tripped up. And it'll be a set-piece opportunity here.
Danny Dicchio is a manager who really goes on about the importance of the defensive side of things when it comes to his squads. That lack of concentration at the back is something that he's going to bring up and work on all week long with his side. Just when you feel like the result is in the bag, that is when you are most vulnerable. Fort Wayne, you're right back in this game.
This one taken directly to goal, and it wasn't well off target, but just enough for it to be harmless. Out for a goal kick. Musa lifting this one up the pitch. Settled down by Hernandez. Nieto trying to help his team find another late goal and tie this one up. Ricol. Rutt's able to intervene there. And Darren Smith, patient with the ball at his feet. Now it's rolled up ahead. Rafa Menzigen already has one. Rafa Menzigen cuts it in the middle. Trickling through. No one's there to pick it up for Detroit. And now it's Awudor all by himself. He draws the foul. He falls onto his knees. And it's quickly restarted by Ricol. Gaffar has Rico running. Lilian Rico in the middle for Betcher, and it's just in front of him. As we see 5 more minutes added on. Fans, when you need more time, call more. Tonight's stoppage time is brought to you by More Wealth Management, helping you plan for the future.
On the break that time, Fort Wayne, after winning possession, Detroit City bringing numbers forward, leaving themselves vulnerable on the break. What impact Lilian Rico has brought to this game. A player who is so important to everything that Fort Wayne want to do. Not just now, but in the future. At 23 years of age, he is certainly a pillar around which this franchise can build around.
Solis is called for the foul. 4 more minutes to go. Currently, Detroit are on 3 points here. It won't be enough for them to advance, as Miami FC are up 5-0 against Sarasota Paradise, and that's just one of the games that had to go their way. Or at least had to go the other way, but they needed a whole collection of things to furl in the proper direction. As we see a yellow card is issued here to Kobe Hernandez Foster. Yellow card Snyder presented by Arnold Terrell Ridenour, attorneys at law, protecting your rights on and off the pitch. Here he comes, ripping that one forward. A couple of potential targets there, but it won't reach any of them. So time winds down in this cup competition for both of these teams. It's a quick turnaround for Fort Wayne, a road trip to Knoxville, which is certainly very far from one of the easier fixtures you're going to get in the USL League One season. It's probably up there for the most difficult. And it'll be a home game next weekend, Keyworth against Indy 11 or Le Rouge. Mensingen making his way forward, dodging professional fouls in the process. Still has something left in the tank with 93+ minutes having been played up to this point. Rafa Mensingen just keeps on going. Back to James Musa. It's him, Thiago Dias, and Juan Solis as your 3 center backs. Betcher rolls it in. Tapped along by Gaffar. Nieto trying to lift it over several defenders. Able to keep possession though. This one knotted down. He's looking for recall. Whistle will sound. Ref had a moment to think about it and then decided that Aoudor's actions there were over the line.
The fans urging Fort Wayne forward, trying to push their side, find an equalizer. Foul as Detroit are back in possession, and the frustration evident, understandably so. On the bench, contact on the build-up, but Mike Avery looks on. Was a foul, must be said, as you were saying, Mensingen. What a game from him. Tireless on that flank, back and forth all evening long, making things extremely difficult at the back for Fort Wayne. Putting a lot of pressure on the home side.
Diash, that's a loose touch. Oh, he just gets away with it. We've now gone through the 5 minutes. Of course, we had a little bit of a break there with Mensingen down after the foul. So similar to the first half, it'll just be up to Carlos Rodriguez's discretion for when this game will conclude. But Fort Wayne will be looking for an equalizer until that whistle is sounded. Musa. Waiting for everything to be given the go-ahead by our head official, who's having to tidy things up in the box. Got some arms on him. And it's going to be a foul in favor of Detroit City. And you think that will probably just about do it here. It has gone final between Miami and Sarasota, so officially Detroit City not able to make it through, but are going to end it on a high note here. As the final whistle sounds, the Prinx Tires USL Cup concludes for both Fort Wayne and Detroit City, but it is the USL Championship side that'll end with 3 points in hand. 2-1 your final score. As we take a look at our man of the match presented by PSM ONE, keeping Fort Wayne FC healthy and match ready all season long. Well, Lilian Recall is pretty much a guaranteed fixture in this lineup, in the starting lineup when he plays. He comes off the bench today and shows why he's usually in that starting 11.
He completely changed the flow of this game with his presence up front, bringing the energy and the hunger needed for Fort Wayne. He is a player to watch going forward, that is without a doubt.
With that in mind, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have the post-game thoughts here on ESPN+. 2-1 your final score. Detroit City FC victorious over Fort Wayne Football Club.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
When injury happens, it can be devastating, not just for the athlete, but their entire family. This is where Parkview Sports Medicine comes in. We come alongside the athlete and the family and bring them back to where they once were.
There are stories like this in every community, in every single one of our high schools, in every single one of our universities.
It's the relationships that we build. We're building ambassadors for Parkview for generations to come.
When you're looking for your next vehicle, there's a reason so many families choose Kelly Automotive Group. With 9 dealerships, 14 brands, and 3 convenient locations, you'll find an incredible selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Plus, enjoy free car washes for as long as you own your vehicle. Our commitment doesn't end when you drive off the lot. From routine maintenance to collision repair, detailing, and accessories, we're here to serve you long after the sale. Experience transparent pricing, exceptional customer service, and a team that's here to earn your trust every mile of the way. Kelly Automotive Group. Why buy anywhere else?
Prinx Tires is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Built for practical performance and the long haul, Prinx delivers reliability for everyday drivers like you. Visit PrinxTireUSA.com to learn more. Time for your full-time highlights here on ESPN+. Fort Wayne FC and Detroit City FC doing battle in their last match in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Mark Schoenster, Antonio Aquilina with you here on the broadcast with our closing thoughts. It was a game that after 45 minutes, neither side found the edge, but they certainly had the opportunity to do so on several occasions, especially Detroit City. whom had a bevy of shots that just couldn't quite go in the first half.
Very evenly matched game between these two sides, both with great opportunities to find the back of the net in the opening half. In the second stanza, much of the same as it was Detroit who had an edge in possession. Echeverria with a massive game here this evening, and the goal would come via set piece in the 62nd minute as Smith is able to take advantage of the delivery by Ryan Williams and being Echeverria for the first time here this evening. Mettingen getting involved, cutting inside from his right back position. The daisy cutter getting past the netminder, and a 2-goal advantage for Detroit City would simply be too much, as Fort Wayne would get one back with Lilian Recol coming in off the bench and finding the back of the net, but it would be too little, too late.
That would make the final score 2-1 in favor of Detroit City. As we wrap up this broadcast and wrap up this cup in the group stages and in this cup in general for these two sides, now all eyes are focused on the league play for both of these teams. With that in mind, this is where we'll wrap things up as a broadcast crew for our entire crew. For Antonio Aquilino, I'm Mark Schoenster. We hope you have a fantastic night, and we will see you next time on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.